Welcome to the HR Insider, where we explore the depths of human resources, revealing new insights, trends, and the stories of those who shape the HR world. Today, we are glad to have Ms Sweta Singh with us, a talent acquisition thought leader and a recognized figure in the DE&I space. She's passionate about empowering individuals to find their dream jobs and enabling environments where they can truly be themselves. Shweta embodies the belief that everything you have ever wanted lies beyond fear. I'm your host, Harshal, and I am excited to know more about Shweta's journey and insights in the world of HR and recruitment. Welcome, Shweta, to the HR Insider podcast. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Harshal, for a sweet introduction. I'm doing absolutely fine, and it's great to know everything what you have said. It's always good to hear something from the other side of the camera. So, yeah, all doing good. How are you, by the way?
All good, Shweta. It's our pleasure to really have you on the show today. And I'm so curious and I have so many questions, topics I would love to hear your perspective around. The very first thing when I first saw your profile, when I got to know about you, is I want to know more about your professional journey and why did you choose TA as your niche?
Yeah, so I'm a typical small town girl, Harshal. So, I don't belong to Delhi. So, I came here for the higher studies, lots of dreams, did my MBA from Noida, and after that, the journey started. Since my school days, I would say when I was around 11th and 12th, around that only, I found myself more inclined towards the people aspect, the human aspect of the things. So, like more on how they think, how they react. So, I love observing whether it's people, their behavior. So, whenever I'm sitting outside, you'll find me simply sitting and enjoying that moment, observing what's around. So, that has been a natural thing which came. So, I intentionally chose MBA HR because I wanted to go deep dive into that. And then TA happened. I got placed in the company and started working on it. So initially, I had a theoretical understanding of what TA is. And then when I started working, eventually I got to understand I'm doing one of the most powerful jobs available. And why is it powerful is by doing this, I am somehow creating a direct impact on someone's life and their family's life. So whenever someone wants a job or someone is switching a job, there are XYZ multiple reasons. And somehow, to certain set of people, I am becoming that reason or I am becoming that channel, what I would say, to get to that dream job or to start their career. And that feeling is amazing. So that's how I just went on and went on. And eventually, when you have started talking to people, so that's the job of the TA, right? We keep on talking to people who are interested and looking for a job change and everything. And then eventually I realized people started considering me as a expert or someone who can guide them in their career journey, whether they should choose this option. So I remember people talking to me, Shweta, I have two offers. What should I choose? Should I choose this one or should I choose that one? And then I used to tell them, basis on my understanding, that, hey, why don't you set your priorities? And first, do a check and create a checklist and just simply check that which priorities are setting aside with those jobs. And then why don't you go with that? So, started with that. So, I think this is one feeling which has kept me going for all these years. I still feel I'm doing the most powerful job right now. Every organization, the most important asset is people, right? And that people thing is, of course, TA, we are bringing in good people. So, from the company's perspective as well, we are doing the most important job. From individuals' perspective as well, creating a direct impact in their life, in their family's life, dreams, careers. It feels amazing.
Amazing. I think absolutely. I think TAs are among those who really fulfill or enable people to get their dream jobs. They are the bridge to the opportunities which every candidate or the aspiring professional is looking forward to.
Yeah.
How did Dunnhumby happen to you? And I'm sure in your TA journey you would have faced a lot of challenges, you would have had a lot of setbacks. How did you overcome them?
Well, how Dunnhumby happened, that's an interesting story. So I was working in my previous company, wasn't in a mood to change at all. Long back, I had worked with a leader, and we had a good interaction. That was a short stint. I was on a contractual role with him, and he
Hmm.
understood the way I was working, and he really liked my way of working. So when Dunnhumby had this role open, so that person who is right now not in India, he recommended my name, that I do know her and I know she is going to solve your problem. Why don't you connect her? And then Dunnhumby, the HR head, she reached me out, and I was like, hey, right now I'm not actively looking. And then she said, let's connect on a cup of a coffee. And I was okay, fine. And then that conversation started, and I liked the role. And then I joined Dunnhumby, and it's been 5 years. I'm here now. Challenges, um, yeah, of course, career, when you have a career, you have ups and downs. So there have been instances wherein, TA is a bit of a, so few years down the line, now I think it's much more, there is a much more wider aspect to it. But few years down the line, TA was more transactional. you know when you understand, when you speak to someone that this is, I'm a talent acquisition professional, so the first impression that used to come, okay, fine, calling people and just asking for the job. So it was looked transactional, it was seen as transactional, and I think somehow that was true as well. But eventually things have grown, because see, I'm a creative person. I somehow used to feel myself challenged. What like whatever I'm doing, is that enough? Can I do something more? What else can I do other than this? So when these conversations started with myself only, so I do a self reflection a lot, Harshal. So when these conversations started, and with of course our TA head here, so we had lots of different discussions, what else we can do, what else we can do. And I'm lucky that I have a boss, I have a leader who really listens. And of course, he also had a thought process that this is how we are doing. And as a team, we started improving different things. We started thinking about automation tools, how to bring on more operational efficiency, how to increase the customer experience overall. So, like the stakeholder experience overall, how to just bring the team away from doing more transaction to more as a thought leader, acting as a thought leader, acting as a person who are doing much beyond a normal recruitment BAU. So I think that is something people do feel in their journey when they are in a repetitive job or a transactional job. There comes a time when they start feeling, okay, what else can I do? Right. And that's where they really need to start thinking. And I was lucky, I was having that supportive hands around, wherein so we actually started thinking. So right now, the way, the kind of work I'm doing, the kind of projects I'm doing, that's really lucrative. I don't get enough time to invest on that, but I really love doing what I'm doing. So, yes, and of course, like, day to day challenges, they do happen. It's fine. That's a part of your job, right? But ultimately, when you love what you do, you don't see that as a challenge.
Absolutely. I mean, the crux I take it from it, lot can happen over the cup of coffee, and you ended up at getting your dream job at Dunnhumby. So that's pretty
Yeah.
good to know. And also the previous relationships which you have built and the impact you would have created on your various stakeholders could land you to the future opportunities. To all our listeners,
Yes.
so I would say you're always build a network within your ecosystem. You don't know what your network holds for you in the future, what next big opportunity can come your way through your network. And yes, always be open to meet people over a cup of coffee. Exciting. So, Shweta, the job market is evolving, right? And I
Yes.
see a lot of buzz about data science, AI. From your perspective, what trends are you noticing in the hiring practices within the data science and AI fields, and how do you feel about this domain, the buzz what we are seeing in the job market?
Yeah, so, see, of course, data science and AI, these are the hot topic from last few years at least, right? So now things have changed a bit, Herschel. Changed, and I would say evolved is the better word to use. Organizations have realized the power of data, right? So, and organizations are moving on from making conscious decisions, basic intuitive decisions, to data driven decisions, right? So when a data driven decision has to be made, data is very important. Plus, data is playing a very strong role when it comes to bringing operational efficiency, bringing automation. So, organizations have found it cost effective as well. And they have found it that when something is data driven, backed by data, you see the trend, the past trend, the future, and predict the future. That's what we call analysis here. So, this actually empowers the organizations to make those decisions which are in their favor, or it's better for their future and their employees' future, right? These particular things, these have lead to a demand increase in demand of roles like data engineers, data scientists, AI leads, or AI specialist, artificial intelligence. Now, machine learning, people who know machine learning algorithms. So these roles are in high demand right now in market, and they are going to be in high demand for next few years at least, for sure, because that's what the future is right now, right? So definitely, data is playing a very crucial role right now, and again, this world has seen like an increase in the demand of more specialized and niche skill people, right? So, technology always keeps on evolving. So, a technology person who is in a job market, they can't say, now I know everything and I think I can just sit around and do my job and relax. They have to keep learning every day. They have to keep learning new things, right? Because that is what is in demand. And if they don't learn, they may get stagnant. That's what the harsh truth is, right? So definitely that upskilling thing is very much in the market right now. And initially, like, it was like only data companies work on the data, but a changing trend is now every domain is using that data to make those data driven insights. So whether it's a healthcare domain, whether it's a CPG domain, retail domain, automotive domain, manufacturing, you pick up a domain or a company, everyone is hiring a data engineer right now, because they know that for making those decisions and for driving their decisions finally to the growth, they need those people around. This is the future for sure.
And there's also one school of thought which says that the advancement of technology in the AI and data science could lead to a lot of job losses. And there's also another school of thought which says that the advancement in AI would eventually create more jobs of high uh, cognizance and high intellectuality. What's your take on that? I know as a leader in the TA space, your organization do a lot of hiring in the data science and AI domain. Which school of thought would you agree and why?
Okay, so Harshal, of course, there are two different school of thoughts, and there is no black and white picture here. In fact, I was having a conversation with one of my seniors around, my ex colleagues, and they were saying, like, there was a time when recruitment was done with physical resumes, when we didn't had this much of internet and automation in the process. People used to bring their resume and just walk in somewhere in the company and ask, can I have a job, right? And when this entire situation come wherein technology came and everyone was like, okay, things can done online, you don't need to just walk into a company. So there also similar situation was there when people were like, okay, fine, now people will be losing jobs. But when there is a change, of course it brings a bit of uncertainty in the mind, right? And that's very natural for the people, because they have been doing something, they have a conditioning of the mind that this is how it is done. And if someone says, comes and says that, hey, this is the technology, it can change the entire thing. So the first thing that fear comes in mind, then what will happen to me? What will happen to my knowledge and skill? And that is a very natural thing. My personal opinion, of course, automation will lead to some automation will lead to automation of few processes, right? Processes as in where less of human intervention or more transactional work is getting done, right? But it's not like someone can 100% replace something. That's not the case. So as I said, it's not a complete black and white. Say for example, I'll just tell you. So when we have, so earlier when AI was not there, Recruiters were doing cold callings to the candidates and asking, are you looking for a change or something? And then asking their resumes, or doing a job posting and getting their resumes around, right? When we have the AI tools, then that first transaction of work that gets done automatically, right? Because AI itself sees that, okay, fine, these are the resumes which had the keywords. So they shortlist those resumes and send it to recruiters who can speak to the candidates then. So just telling you a process that it happens, but did it lead a loss for the recruiter? No. If you see, they are more efficient now, because now instead of just making those searches and then going through thousands of applications to filter the 100 or best 10 or 15 they can focus more energy on having those conversations, insightful conversations, doing the upselling or reselling of the roles, making them understand how it works, working on the customer experience. So our perspective needs to be changed here, right? So there is a change, and change definitely brings uncertainty, but it's not always negative, so one has to see that from a balanced angle, wherein yes, of course there is a change, but yes, this is making giving me a free time which I can utilize on this area. Now you see, people talk more about work life balance, people talk more about following their passion, right? Getting away from that 9 to 5 job. 5 6 years down the line, were you hearing these concepts so even like so
Never.
frequently? No, right?
Never.
Because they realize that they have that priority, they have that free time, they can move away from the transactional things, they can plan and prioritize, and they can lead their life the way they want. So this is bringing in a positive change as well, so it's all about perspective here.
And I know so many people would be reaching out to you to seek your guidance for the potential careers they can get into in the data science and AI. The people on the ground who you interact with, they would also fall in various categories. You would have one category who are like freshers, fresh graduates, and you would have 1 to 3 years, then what I call 3 to 6, 6 to 9, and onwards. Which segment, or which category of people do you think are more acceptable to AI, and which segment or which category of the aspiring professionals you feel are still more worried about the evolution or the development or the advancement which is happening in the AI?
So see, clearly people who are ready to learn new things, no one can replace them, you know definitely priorities have changed, so I'll just bifurcate. So when it comes to people who are starting their career, for example,
Right, right,
so of course, skills requirement have changed, business expectations have changed a bit, as in they want people who can accommodate with the changing needs, and that's how the evaluation happens, right? So people who are ready to learn new things, who are not afraid of experimenting new things, who are ready to collaborate, those will be the people who will be going forward and moving forward in this journey. So my recommendation to them would be, like, if you ask me what will be top 3 4 suggestions for them, would be they need to have their basics right. When the basic is right, everything else can be learnt upon, right? So basics needs to be really good. So when they are in their college, they should focus more on getting relevant projects,
right,
projects which are in demand in the market, and actually work on those projects, because at that point of time they don't have corporate experience. So those are the projects which will build a base for the organization, that hey, he or she has worked on this particular project and looks like they're good in coding. Let's try, let's interview them, right?
right.
Again, I do get to hear from few people, we don't know what is happening in industry. See, of
Exactly.
course, when they are in college, they are not frequently interacting with corporates. This gap is natural, right? So my suggestion would be for them to see, for example, linkedin has lots of professional groups, or say for example GitHub, or there has been many coding challenges around, right? So if
Right,
they are active on those platforms and those challenges, they know what people are talking about, because that's what people are talking about in industry, right? And if they are active in that particular thing, they know what is happening in industry and they are more ready for the industry. And
Exactly.
organizations also take it as a very positive aspect that that student who is looking to enter the industry or the corporate, they are really well prepared, they know what people are talking about, so it becomes a very strong advantage for that particular candidate. So when we talk about experienced professionals, Harshal, so with experienced professional, mostly people who are in their comfort zone. So we know comfort zone, right? When we see that
Exactly.
everything is going fine, I'm sitting here, I'm doing my job, and everything is going fine. Industry doesn't work like that, you know. When things are evolving, we need to keep ourselves upskilling, right? If we
Right.
don't upskill, then of course there will be a time when there will be others who are better skilled than us and they're going to replace us, right? Because organization will ultimately find the value, who is giving more value, who is creating more value.
Hmm.
How are you creating that strong value is the question. My suggestion would be that everyone should ask, am I creating that value? Like every year on year, what difference am I making in the role? Am I learning new things, right? Because see, if I say, come on, I'm doing this for 20 years and everything is good, but someone with 10 years of experience can come and say, fine, you have these 5 skills, I'm getting coming with this 10 skills. Naturally organizations will favor that person who is bringing in 10 skills on the table, because that's how industry is evolving, right? So
Right.
I think for experienced professional, my only suggestion would be upskilling is the future. And as soon as they start doing it, safer they are in the industry. And it's not only because AI, it has always been, you know, the things which doesn't improve, like for example, that Nokia phone, if you remember, that small
Oh,
phone,
yes.
1100 or something.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
very ideal example. They didn't evolved, right? And that's why
Right.
they were replaced. They were the best model, the first model, technology was good, body was very strong. They were doing the job. But ultimately, smartphones replaced it, right? So,
Right.
just a very vague example, I'm saying that we are in a job market. And of course, 20 years ago, like when our dads were doing those jobs, it was like, fine, we are sticking to a company, we know the job and we are doing it and we are good, we are doing fine, right? Market has changed. We have lesser jobs and more people right now. That is
Exactly.
one discussion. So how are we making us relevant, and keeping us relevant is a very important question.
You touched upon a very important part that it's about creating the value for the
Yes.
organization, right? Especially for the experienced folk. I have two questions, which I would love to hear your perspective upon. One, is the certifications available in the market, right? When you talk about a lot of AI and data science related certifications, a lot of online players are offering some good learning modules to the aspiring professionals. So are organizations and employer valuing these certification courses on the resume of an individual? Would that become one of the differentiating factor to select one over the above? And the second part is, we all know for a fact a recruiter or a sourcer might just give a 3 second or a 5 second glance to a resume. In those 3 seconds, 5 seconds, how an candidate can bring or best in a best possible way showcase the value they can offer to the organization, because as you mentioned, we have limited jobs but the supply of the talent is humongous, right? Considering this dynamics, in those 3 to 5 seconds, how can an individual make an impact to the respective sourcer or the recruiter who's reviewing their resume? So these two questions I would love to hear your perspective, Shweta.
Sure, Harshal. So coming to certifications, um, see what I'm seeing from last 2 3 years is organizations, as I said, that organizations like to hire people who love to upskill themselves. So
Exactly.
if someone is showcasing certificates in their resume, it clearly showcases that the person is learning driven, right? And
Hmm.
it's not like just flashing a resume gives a weightage to your, sorry, flashing a certificate gives a weightage to the resume. That's such a separate angle to it. From organization's perspective, if suppose I'm hiring someone in the team, I would, and I know that I need someone who is really good in learning, because I would want them to do different things and maybe evolve in their job eventually, as soon as we know that we need to do on certain skills and all. So if I'm seeing that thing in the resume, that okay, in this year person did this particular certification, next year this learning, third year this learning, it automatically gives me a confidence that the person is keen towards learning new things, right?
Right.
And if they have been learning from last 3 4 years, eventually it will be easy for me to put them at the floor and they give them a platform and say, hey, we are moving towards this direction, why don't you try doing these courses and we can start implementing those things at the work. And as a manager, I will have a confidence that fine, the person will be able to do it, right? So that certification comes a very important role when learning is a really important thing in the in the journey. And upskilling and seeing the future market, definitely this is going to be one of the major aspect companies are going to look for. They are looking for currently, and it is going to stay in the trend for next few years as well. Coming to resume, yes, that's a very important and relevant question, Harshal, and I think I can talk about it for next half an hour, but of course I won't take that much of time. Many a times people don't pay lots of attention in building their resume, right? And that's the most like I would say the grave mistake they do, because when recruiter don't know them as a person and what brilliant work they are doing, the first phase is resume. And if resume
Right.
is not built properly, they will just pass it on and move to another one who has made a better resume, right? Now, 2 3 things what we observe as a TA professionals is, first of all, they just keep on talking about what they are looking for. Like when we talk about summary, so most of the time, like 99% of the time, what we see that most of the time they look, I'm seeking a leadership role on this and this, that's what they write. Fine, but being practical, you are seeking a leadership role, what should I do in that? How is that a value addition for me or for my company, right? So they need to really understand that their resume should talk about what value addition are they going to do in that company with their experience. So that summary really needs to be worked upon. Then uh, in the experience section, we have seen they keeps on talking more about, okay, I managed this, I created this, I did this. Absolutely fine, you're talking about what all things you have done, but again that is not answering the exact question, why should we hire you, right? So
Absolutely.
my suggestion would be to people who really want to work on their resume is, talk about how you created an impact in your resume. Fine, you were doing a role in your company, that's absolutely fine, but what impact did you created in that role? Because I will be interested in knowing that, because that will give me a conviction that fine, you were able to make these differential changes or you were able to achieve these differential targets. So maybe I think that can be done in my company as well. Why would I be interested in knowing what all things were you involved into, unless and until I know what was the final result, or did you achieve that, how did you achieve that, how did you created that impact? So that language really needs to be worked upon.
So it should be more about the individual should spend more time in talking about the various projects they have worked upon. What are the different technologies, and should would the as a professional would you be looking at a quantified output of an impact the person made on the project on the organization success?
Exactly. Exactly. So when they talk about, so most of the time, professionals, they keep on talking about what role they played, right? They should always be talking in a star. So there is a star method of answering a question, Harshit. Star method is, first of all, so whenever, so of course, this star method may not be fully presented in a resume, but just as a tip to the job seekers, whenever they're answering a question in an interview for sure, they should keep in mind that star thing. Star means first they talk about the situation. This
Mm-hmm.
is the situation. This was the task which was assigned to me, which is the T. This is the action I took against that particular task, which is the A, and then this was the final result which I achieved. Right? So,
Got it.
if that thing is taken care of, that means you are fully communicating to the interviewer that, hey, this is what the situation is, and this is how I created the impact. And that is the complete way of answering thing. Coming to resume, of course, more quantified result it is, better it looks. Like if someone says, um, I increased the sales by 29% in last 2 years by doing this and this, for a sales profile, for example. And then someone says, working as a sales leader in this company from last 2 years and managing a team of 80 people. Who do you think will create more impact here?
Yeah. I think the
The first
quantified
one, right?
version, exactly.
Because for me, doesn't matter you are managing 80 people or 100 people. Of course, it will matter when it comes to people segment of thing. But if I'm really looking for a strong salesperson who can come and solve my sales problem here in my company, I would want to know what impact you created, right? And if you are writing that you increased the sales by 29% in 2 years, wow, I should definitely meet that person, right? So that wow factor gets added. In technology as well, okay, you learned lot many things, but what impact did you created? Did you do any migration, any particular transformation you did? Were you a part of it? Right? How, what was your role? What impact you created in that? So if we talk more about that, resume gets more impressive.
Got it. Got it. And you know, uh, again, very interesting thing I would like to ask you is we are now seeing people using ChatGPT to create resume, right? They pick up a job description, they put it in as a prompt, and they're able to customize their resume to fit the. It should have all the keywords which should fit the screening methodology for a particular job. Do you think the leverage of ChatGPT in the resume making could also be resulting in the lower acceptance of their applications?
Um, if I say acceptance of application, chat GTP might not be the reason, Harshal. That is a different reason altogether. So most of the companies have started using ATS now, right?
Yes.
So when people create their resumes, so in order to make it look lucrative and really good, they add on lots of boxes in it. And many a
Yes.
times they don't realize that ATS, most of the ATS, they are not able to read boxes. So it goes as blank and gets rejected,
Hey,
right?
very interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And that's why it is one of the major reason. If you ask a TA professional, they will never recommend you that you put lots of boxes and pictures in your resume. They really look good if you are sending your resume one to someone, like on their emails. That looks really good. But when it goes to ATS, so of course ATS is trained the way because it will look for the keywords, and then it will shortlist the resume, and rest of the resume may get rejected or may not get shortlisted. Even if they are not getting rejected because of few policies, GDPR policies and all, still they may not get shortlisted. They will not be the top 10 or 20 applicants, right? So even if the person has done those things, ATS is not able to read that particular resume, and hence it is not shortlisted. So recruiter will only get to see the resume which is shortlisted by the ATS, right? And then they just go ahead and meet or speak to those people. So if recruiter wants to filter out top 20 resumes in the 500 applications they receive for a role, and ATS will filter out those 500 applications, and it will give a ranking. For example, these are the top 20 resumes which matches the job profile, say 70% or 80% or 90% for that matter. So most of the time recruiter will go to those 20 resumes and will start interviewing people from there. So rest of 480 resumes, if the role doesn't get filled, recruiter will go back to that particular lot of resume, else they will not go there.
I think this input what you gave me, that the boxes getting rejected or the resumes which have a lot of boxes getting rejected by the AI. I think that's make the perfect sense of why human involvement is critical in the recruitment, where There could be a very good resume which might get rejected by an AI bot,
Yes.
but had a human recruiter been evaluating or going through that resume, that person might have been the forefront runner for getting that respective role. So I think a balanced
Yes.
approach towards the AI adoption and human intervention is required, and
Yes.
that's how the your technology could be your accelerator, but human intelligence has to be uh,
Yes.
the candidate experience element and the I would say the facilitator to ensure the technology is successful. Very
Yes.
relevant. Shweta, again, one of my favorite topic is about freshers, right? Today, with data science and AI being the buzzwords, a lot of the fresh graduates who are coming out of the colleges, a lot of them wants to get into data science. A lot of them wants to build their career in AI, and these are fascinating, right? And also, we see a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startups are talking about AI as the core competency or the differentiator around which the entire business models are being built. So definitely from a Gen Z perspective or the next generation coming up, they are all fascinated and appealed or attracted towards this domain. But when it comes to the jobs, I see most of the jobs are asking for 3+ years of experience. The jobs what we have for the freshers in this domain is very limited. How do you, what in your experience, what would you suggest to a fresher? How can they build their career in this domain? How can they get started when most of the organizations are looking for the experienced professionals in this domain?
So, Harshal, definitely demand for experienced professionals have always been higher, but it's not 100% correct that people don't look for freshers. Yeah, from last couple of years, market has not been doing good. Like the market had seen
Yes.
an economic slowdown. So, but we cannot set the situation based on last 2 years because fresher roles are there, right? I think a bigger challenge is when it comes to freshers, that's what I said, that many a times what we see when we go to campuses that they are not very clear on the basics. They don't know much about what is happening in the industry, and that's where organizations find it difficult on like how to evaluate them. So of course evaluations are there, but my suggestion for freshers would be they need to start creating a differentiator for themselves, right? Say, for example, I have one job and I have five applicants. I would want to choose the best one of the five, right? Who is able to do that job. So that best one must have created some differential, created some differentiator for them, right? And that differentiator can get created if someone is really passionate about. So before answering this question, let me just tell you, many times what we see when we ask why do you want to get into this job, most of the time we get to hear our friends are also getting selected, we need a job to start our career, these sort of things. And we know these are very innocent answers. They are kids in
Oh,
colleges and
yes.
they want to come to industry. Very innocent answers. But if at all we replace it, say with an example, um, see, Harshal, I have read about your company. I'm really passionate. I know your company is doing this and this in AI world. And I have learned your leaders talk about this and this and this. And you know what? In industry, there are certain tools which can help you in this. And maybe what we can create as a differentiator, maybe you might have done. Maybe the leader of this particular team, I understand they were creating an article. They spoke about this thing. I have a perspective about this particular AI tool. It can be done by this and this and this. Which answer will you think is good?
The researched one.
The
The
researched
person
one,
of
right?
exactly.
That
Exactly.
creates the differentiation basically. I know I gave a very vague example, just came to my mind, but
No, I think
that's how
it's
it
a
is.
no, it's very relevant. I agree that be it a fresher or be it even the experienced folks, the person who have researched a lot more about the organization, who understands the potential employers ecosystem better, have a better chance of getting through a job, right? Now, from a fresher's perspective, they would be able to communicate their research or their inputs only when they are able to come in front of the panel to
Mm-hmm.
give, to share their views, their research. most of the freshers would might not be able to even come to the interview stage. They might get
Mm-hmm.
rejected during the resume screening phase itself. Any tips you would give to overcome this particular challenge? And secondly, you talked about, yes, last 2 years has been quite a challenging times from a tech industry perspective. Do you see, as we move forward with the new financial year kicking in, and as the industry starts to invest further in this newish technologies, do you believe that hiring of freshers at a entry level, and coaching them, training them on the job and educating them and giving exposure to a lot of technology in the AI could become a new normal?
Sure. So let me answer the first question. Um, of course. So once a fresher gets a platform, then only they can showcase the skills and the knowledge. But should they only be waiting for an interview to come to them? No. Social media is very active, and social media is not only for trolling someone. You can definitely use it in building your own brand, right?
Yes.
Personal brand building and networking is very important. And so, just to clarify, networking doesn't mean you just keep on sending message to someone. Or personal branding, how do I create it? Is for a question. As I said, see, you can leverage LinkedIn as a platform. LinkedIn, widely used in technology, right? In data science or AI, they should start identifying individuals who are actually active on LinkedIn or companies with whom they would want to work for. Start interacting with those people, sharing their perspective, what they think about it, what are their perspective on that person's post or what the company is doing. That's how you create your visibility, right? Say,
Right.
for example, you have a job and you don't know me, but when I start sending you a very polite message, hey Harshal, I saw your post. This is what it is. This is what my perspective is. I think company using this tool is a fantastic idea. It can be done this and this and this. Naturally you will get interested. Fine, this person looks quite knowledgeable, right?
Right.
And personal branding cannot be done in just one time. So that's why I suggested join those groups, LinkedIn groups, technology LinkedIn groups, because people are there. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Identify a few companies. Just don't go haywire that I just need a job. It can be anywhere, because then people look directionless. So my first suggestion to them, whether it's a fresher or a experienced one, would be identify the companies you want to work for, research about them, identify the professionals you want to work for, and start networking with them. Can be a lengthier process, but it's the best one other than the campus for the freshers to get the job, because there they understand your value and then you will get an interview chance, right?
Got it.
uh, Coming year, I think I cannot say very confidently about 2024 first half, at least, Harshal, to your next question, because US, it's still coming up with on the economic crisis thing. It's still recovering, but I think it's going to take some time. Globally the environment is like that right now, but things does look positive. It's still improving. I would not say the situation is exactly the same it was 1.5 year back or 1 year back, right? So it is going to go back to campuses for sure. And the major reason why this current phase happened, one of the major reason can be companies overhired in last 2 years. Many companies, like in 2021 especially, like hiring was going crazy across the industry, especially in technology, right? And then companies realized, fine, I think we have overhired, and then all these things started happening. And then, okay, fine, let's do the hiring freeze and all, right? But once things are settling down, so we see it getting settling down now, maybe some more time, and market should stabilize. So, and when market stabilizes, so of course, I think that demand of freshers and experienced professionals will also be there, right?
Right.
One major change can be, and again, out of evolution, I can say, and again, my personal opinion, it will be that instead of going to one specific college or two specific college, I think industry is moving more towards creating a common platform and who else is cracking that interview should come and meet us. So that
Yes,
college
very
barrier,
interesting.
yes, that college barrier. So what I see, and from where I see next few years, college barrier will not have that much of relevance the way it has been few years back, right? Because companies are identifying that there is a good talent in tier 2 colleges as well. Why not give them an opportunity? So let's create a platform, let's create a question or a test or a hackathon kind of a thing. Whoever cracks it comes here, right? So someone might be studying in a tier 2 or tier 3 college, but if they are brainy, if they know how to crack things, they will be in that college. Again, I'm not saying this is going to be happening immediately right now, but that's how the future looks like right now.
I think this is interesting, moving from a campus recruitment towards a hackathon, a common hackathon. I think this would uh, give an opportunity, a lot of those candidates and those talent where they would never see their dream companies even coming for the placement season. So I think this, if this becomes a reality and a common practice for the organization to bring in the fresh talent, this could be really a game changer from the India talent pool point of view. So
Yes.
we're looking forward to it, and I'm in. I also believe this would be totally the ways the organization should move their campus recruitment strategy in the future. My last and the final question to you, Shweta, is over the next few years, which are the biggest growth opportunities you see in the tech sector? Which sectors you believe would really create a lot more opportunities, a lot more employment, and a lot more innovation ideas to come forward from for the job seekers?
Sure. So, of course, data science is definitely going to be a hot market. Um, Other than that, cloud computing is, I see, is going to be a hot market. Cybersecurity, it has really picked pace in last few years. So, of course, earlier also cybersecurity used to be important thing for the companies, but what I have seen in industry, companies have got more conscious about their data protection since now the usage of data has increased and it's very critical. So when usage has increased, data set size has increased, so protection will also increase, right? So cybersecurity has come as a very important area which is growing, and it will grow in next few years as well, right? So of course, machine learning professionals, then IoT professionals. So these are going to be, of course, data science professionals, data engineers for that matter. So building models to doing machine learning algorithm, whatever it says. Then AI researchers. One area also which will pick pace will be ethical AI work. So, with lots of technology coming in and artificial intelligence coming in, it has become really important for companies and for individuals on how ethically they can use it, like which is not creating any breach in any sort of process or protection, right? So, I think that area I see growing in next few years for sure, wherein these professionals will also increase who will actually work on the ethical usage of the data and the AI tools and everything, right? So that will be the um, few of the major roles, I would say, which will be in demand. For professionals who will be in demand, of course, those who are ready to get upskilled, and of course, because that's how industry is changing, and that change can be accommodated with upskilling and learning. So that has to be there in the professional's career and their resume for sure. Then soft skills demand is definitely going to increase, Harshal. So when we say that we have lots of people with same technical skills, soft skills, when it comes to are they able to work cohesively, how are they interacting with the team, how confidently and effectively they can communicate, are they a problem solver, a team player, do they show resilience, right? So those soft skills are definitely going to increase in demand because see, transactional words are going to get automated. So what difference is going to create, what the thing what is going to create a difference here is soft skill wise and personality wise, what is the attitude of the person, how are they interacting, And how are they behaving? Are they aligning to the cultures and the values and the OKIs and all that area? Plus, I see a demand of increased hybrid mode of working. So when I say hybrid, I'm not talking about 2 days or 3 days in a week. I'm talking about hybrid skill set. Like earlier, it was like, okay, fine, I know only this and I can do only this. But I see now organizations look for more than one skills, capability to work on more than one skill. So if the person is able to deliver in more than one skill, I think they have an added advantage, right? Because by doing that, they can collaborate more and they can contribute more, right? So of course, right now we are sitting in an industry wherein we are seeing that 5 years down the line, these are the skills that we will be needing. But do we have that much of skilled talent? Maybe not. Right now, we do have a talent who are skilled, but are they skilled at that level which will be needed in 3 years or 4 years down the line? So there is a
Hmm.
gap there, Harshal. So of course, we have lots of talent available, but when we see a skill fitment, there is still a gap. And that skill fitment can only be taken care of when individual is ready to learn and organization is ready to create those opportunities for individuals so that they can upskill and learn and go to that particular role and do that particular job.
Got it. No, I think I truly agree that we do have a huge talent pool. They have exposure to a lot of skills, technologies, and domains. And the way the Indian economy is going, the way it is attracting the global organizations to come to India, with GCCs coming, with IT services expanding, with new age product companies growing up, with the startup ecosystem booming. I think, and the evolution of AI would really bring in a lot more opportunities and create a lot of employment opportunities for us all. And the future looks really bright. And I really want to thank you, Shweta, for sharing such diverse perspective on so many topics today. Uh, Thank you for sharing your journey, expertise, and valuable insights into the world of talent acquisition. I think to our listeners would really benefit from this, and you have shared some great tips, golden nuggets to really implement in day-to-day life in their job search journey, in their career journey, which they can implement and get desired results. So thank you so much, Shweta, for really sharing these nuggets with us today.
Thank you, Harshal. It was really pleasure interacting with you. Thank you so much.
Excellent. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on the HR Insider. Your quest for knowledge drives us to bring the most inspiring and informative stories from the HR world. This is Harshal, your host, signing off. Stay tuned for more episodes that connect you with the heart of human resources. Take care.